Can you unmute, please? We can't hear anything coming from the council.
Well, actually, I was just gonna state that we're gonna be doing the zoning board of appeals first, so I'll be leading into roll call. Are we set for Lisa, or do you want to?
I believe we are set, yes.
Thank you. Lisa, you want to go ahead and take both, please?
James Eitzen, Gwen Dusa,
Here.
Bill Gritzmaker,
Here.
Mike Gunner,
Here.
Jerry Hayes,
Here.
Eric Rogers,
Here.
Timothy Waters.
Thank you. We are going to be having the presentation for the public hearing, DBA 24-10-02. I would entertain a motion to open the floor to the public hearing, please.
Make a motion to open the public hearing portion of our meeting for ZBA 24-10-02 public.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Having a first and a second, we'll go ahead and take that roll call again. Lisa, please.
Bill,
Yes. Are here.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Gwen.
Yes. And is there anyone from the board that would like to speak regarding the zoning board of appeals at this time? You would like to? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to let you all know that Maddie sent out all of the buffer letters for this application. We did receive 5 of them back. 4 of them were signed and checked that they do not object with no comments. 1 of them was returned that was checked, I do object, and the comment provided is if the rules / regulations are for everyone, why does one not have to follow them? If an exception is made for one, then others are sure to follow. Otherwise, did not receive any other comments.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Motion to close the public hearing portion of the zoning board of appeals. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Once again, Lisa, roll call, please.
Mike,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Gwen.
Yes. The floor is now open for all public comments. Seeing none, we're going to go on to the next item, which would be the new business, and Danielle will explain the objective of finding the findings of the fact. Is that correct, Danielle?
Correct.
I think you had sent out an email this afternoon, I don't recall the time, regarding an example for us for the findings of the fact, we could, for reference, if we were to choose to look at that.
Yes, so I will, Mr. Litsky is here as well, so if you have any questions for him as the applicant, I would encourage you to ask that of him. I just briefly want to let you all know that Maddie prepared a staff report for you all. She's on her honeymoon, or she would be here tonight, so. Which is included within your agenda, but the applicant is requesting a variance from our accessory structure ordinance to allow for him to build a garage that would be 18 feet in height. The ordinance only permits buildings up to 14 feet in height. As Gwen stated, I did provide a copy of the findings of that from the last application because it was nearly almost the same. And there is, this has been reviewed, the staff has no concerns or comments. Just as a refresher, we will go through each of the findings of fact. You can ask the applicant any questions that you have in order to answer those. You will be required to answer each of them for the record, and then you would have a motion, which would be a positive emotion. If all findings of fact are met, then typically the application is approved. If they are not, then it would typically be denied. So you guys let me know when you're ready to start the findings of fact on that as well.
That page 522, we 5 out of 22 then, Danielle, in that packet.
I thought I had it in front of me and I don't, so let me pull that really quick. I apologize.
Is it page 3? Thanks so much. Did you guys want to look at the example for reference? I'll let you give a moment to look at it. Danielle, would you like to go ahead and read each of these and then we have the discussion? Would you like me to read those? How would you first like us to proceed?
Whatever is easiest for you guys, I'm more than happy to read them. You want me to just read them all and then we'll go back to them for.
I think that would be good, yes, please.
So the first finding is that the special conditions or circumstances that exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved and which do not apply generally to the land, structures, or buildings. The second one is that the literal interpretation of the provisions of the ordinance applied under these special circumstances have created or will create practical difficulties in the applicant's use of the land, building, or structures. 3, that the special conditions and circumstances did not result from actions of the applicant. 4, that the variance is the minimum variance necessary to alleviate the practical difficulties. 5, the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general purposes and intent of this ordinance and will not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to public welfare. This finding shall include, but not be limited to, the following. A, impair or inadequate supply of light and air to adjacent properties. B, unreasonably increase the congestion of traffic in public streets. C, increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety. Or D, unreasonably diminish or impair established property values within the surrounding area. And I know we've talked about this a couple times at the last meeting, but these are, the questions are asked in a negative way and you guys would answer them to the positive to confirm that it did not impact in whichever way is identified.
All right, so we'll take a look at number 1, revisiting. That special conditions or circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved and which do not apply to or affect other land, structures, or buildings in the zoning district. You find it, though?
Would you have to get started?
Sure.
Great, thank you.
So. I think yes, it's, I think that if yes is supposed to be affirmative and no is then the way that things are written, I approve it. I agree with it. It's okay for me.
What does it say on the other one?
Right,
How does-
this one,
Yeah,
it says, number 1, that special conditions or circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or building involved and which do not apply to or affect other land, structures, or buildings in the zoning district. Answer yes.
we can simply say yes. You're okay with that then, Danielle?
I am okay with that. So we don't have to vote on each of these answers as long as you all generally agree with that. If we get to a point where there is a discrepancy and we don't have a general consensus, then we would need to vote. So I just need you all to
Are we all
generally say that you're good with that.
Are we all comfortable with number 1 being a yes?
Yes.
Beautiful.
That special conditions or circumstances exist, which are peculiar to the land. What would be the special condition or circumstance that exists? I guess would be my question. Because we're trying to affirm that it's conflicting, correct? Or it's not.
Correct. You would be that there is something special I can't give you the answer legally, so you guys can work this out amongst yourself and with the applicant if they feel that they have something to contribute here,
Perfect. They can.
but yeah,
okay.
yeah, yes, they can, I
I guess-
encourage them to.
Take it a step back and then, again, we're seeing more and more of these, you know, they used to be fewer and far between, so that may be something we need to look at ordinances in general, but this is something that Maddie looks at and says, yes, it complies or it doesn't, and if it doesn't, then it's up to the applicant to appeal that to us, correct? So she has already said that it does not comply or she's not able to give that answer.
No, you are correct. So it does not comply with our ordinance the way as the application for building permit was submitted now. So she's identified to the applicant that they would need a variance for height. I will tell you, the planning commission did actually ask the staff or myself to prepare an ordinance amendment to be presented to them that they would like to recommend a change to council because this has come up a couple times. And that I just actually finished drafting that last week. It'll go to planning commission in December. And they're gonna be looking at a couple different options. I don't know yet what they'll recommend to you, but I do believe that their intent is to look at the 14 feet as they do feel that that is unreasonable.
Okay.
They don't have the intention of just saying whatever height, there will still be a restriction, but just with the size of vehicles today, it makes it challenging, I think, for people to use their structures when they're that short.
I appreciate that. I don't want the cart before the horse, but obviously I think it's something that maybe take a look at the bigger picture.
Lynn, what's the current height of your garage now? Is it
Oh, it's in here.
Yeah, it's just 15 and a-
15?
It's only gonna be like 3 foot higher.
I got it, thank you.
We tear the building down or?
It's gone. They tore it down today.
Okay.
Are we comfortable with number one? Yes. Bill, I know you're comfortable. Tim,
Yes.
Yes,
thank you very much. How we feeling down there?
And we've already approved a similar one
Correct,
in that neighborhood, so.
that's why I would be under the assumption.
Yep.
That we would be certainly looking at each of these items, but we have delved into this previously,
A couple of times.
correct? Mike, your thoughts on the yes?
Yeah, a couple questions, Lynn. I think dialogue back and forth will probably benefit us. So your former building was torn down by by decision though, like it wasn't a storm damage tree and falling, it was
It
destroyed.
was kind of, had a southern lean to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it was like an act of
It was
God.
ready to fall.
So something had to be done regardless.
Well, yeah, it wasn't safe anymore.
Because taking a step back and looking at the previous, and again, we want to kind of follow by example and be fair across the board. I totally get it. But I've done a lot of reading on this stuff, just trying to prepare for this and. I guess first question, Danielle, this would become a non-conforming structure, right? If we approve it, is that what it would be seen as? That's what it's viewed as?
Correct.
If we approve this?
It would it is non-conforming, but it would be in compliance because they would have on record that they had an approved variance. So it wasn't just built without permission, non-conforming, so it would be allowed to exist.
Right,
But if the structure was ever removed or replaced, they would have to either reapply or meet current ordinance. It would just be for the life.
exactly.
Of
It
that
specifically
structure.
states in the ordinance. And shame on us, well, not shame on us, but again, just it's a learning curve, but. It says if it's 100% destroyed based on insurance. Then it's not supposed to be rebuilt, it's supposed to be rebuilt to comply with code, right? So we're not supposed to rebuild something that is non-conforming.
Correct.
And that That's one thing I think that was missed, and these are the things that need to be specifically kind of light on and drawn out by the zoning administrator when, you know, anything that is relative to these discussions. I think based on the different ordinance, you know, numbers should be included in this, so I don't think we knew that last time that. Yes, that previous one was an act of God and it was destroyed, but if it's destroyed to 100% of the insurance costs, it's not supposed to be rebuilt outside of the non-conforming. It's supposed to be built to match the existing ordinance. So that's just one point there. And again, I want to be fair across the board and totally equal about it and totally fair. So, but again, it's a learning curve as well. I guess my only question is what is the special condition or the circumstance that exists as relative to other surrounding residences in the R2 district? And for me, I don't see one.
And it is my recommendation, and has been in the past, when you answer these, it does not have to be a yes or no. It can be yes and the reason why. And I know I've stated that in the past. Again, how you guys answer them is completely up to you as staff. We can't tell you, but it doesn't hurt to have that in there, because then if you're looking back at that, you'll know exactly how you guys justified any of your answers or came to those answers.
So Mike, if we were to do the yes, comma, what would you like to put in addition behind that comma? With the understanding of,
Personally, I don't have one. That's, I guess my point. I don't see a special circumstance or condition.
so you,
Looking at the property, I don't see any
I-
special circumstance out
I,
of the ordinary.
Okay.
As compared to surrounding,
I
other
understand.
than based on a precedent, maybe we could comment that based on a precedent. historical
Okay.
precedent.
so we could say yes, comma, based upon precedent.
Yes. I
Okay,
suppose.
would you be comfortable with that?
Not really.
Not
because it's
really, I
kind of
understand.
tiptoeing around the.
I understand. I do know that we do have a general consensus of yes.
And I'm totally okay with that.
Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna proceed to number 2. Okay, that the literal interpretation of the provisions of this ordinance applied under these special circumstances have created or will create practical difficulties in the applicant's use of the land, building, or structures. Bill, since you had the reference, what does the other one say? Yes,
Yes, it says yes.
it says yes, okay. So we can have some dialogue about that as well, say yes, comma, or we can simply say yes. Or no, it's chosen.
I'm just trying.
When you look at number 2, it says will not be contrary to the public interest. When you tie that in, then it would be yes, it wouldn't be contrary to it.
So
That
you're
makes sense?
comfortable with the yes.
Yes.
So your comfort level with the yes.
Yes.
Eric, Jerry, and Mike.
Practical difficulty, Lynn, what would be the point of the height, I guess? I mean, it's a 8-foot door, right? Garage door, so typical garage door height.
And then.
How tall is
2 foot
the wall?
above it.
How tall? Of a wall,
Well, the inside wall be 10 foot.
right, 10 feet, okay. And then a 6-12 pitch. So just a normal, yeah, so, okay, 10 feet, so that's about an average height garage. So I guess. The practical difficulty would be. A proper pitch on your roof. I mean, could you do 412, or is there a reason that you have the loft? Is that attic, that could be storage?
Store stuff up there,
And again, this is nothing personal against you. I think the ordinance probably does need to be changed, because a lot of the surrounding residences do have these older garages and things like that, but again. It's
yeah. There's small,
kind of
big garages in the neighborhood.
right, that are the older, yeah. 1.5 story or 2 story, I get it. But. It's hard for me to decipher what the practical difficulty would be, other than, I guess, basic uses of a normal garage. I guess I could suffice with that.
Yes, based upon the normal uses of a garage.
normal height of a door. Yeah.
Did you get that, Lisa?
Yep.
It's based on the normal height of the door. Garage door. Jerry, anything you'd like to add?
I believe so.
And Eric?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. I will go with a consensus on number 2 as well. Number 3, please, that the special conditions and circumstances did not result from the actions of the applicant.
He didn't make it fall.
You didn't make it lean over to the south, Lynn?
You didn't push on it or anything, did you?
No, it didn't. It had its own lean to it.
Have you done any upkeep on it over the years?
No. Well, I put a roof on it a few years ago, but, it's just old, right?
Eric / Mike.
I'm okay. But yes.
Okay, thank you. General consensus has been reached for number 3. Number 4, please. The variance is the minimum variance necessary to alleviate practical difficulties in the applicant's use of the land, building, or structure. We have a yes, once again, for number 4.
Yes.
I agree.
I'm good.
Thank you. All right. Wonderful, guys. I'm gonna go on to number 5 then, which is a little bit lengthier. That the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general purposes and intent of this ordinance and will not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. This finding shall include but not limited to findings that the proposed variance will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent properties. Each one of these does not, A, B, or C does not need to be completed, does it? I mean, I can just put A, B, C together.
They're individuals.
They
You
are.
have to answer them individually,
Yeah, thank
yes.
you, Danielle. Okay, so let's go with then the letter A, impair adequate supply of light and air to adjacent properties. What does
Yes.
our other example has a yes?
Yes.
And we'll go on to letter B, please. Unreasonably increase the congestion of traffic in the public street.
It will not be again.
It will not, so yes. I understand that.
You're gonna have a pretty long work going through there?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all fenced in.
Tim, I'm assuming a yes.
Yes.
Eric, Jerry, Mike?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let's go on then to letter C, please. Increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety.
Again, it will not, so yes.
It will not, so yes.
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Yes.
thank you. And letter D, please. Unreasonably diminish or impair established property values within the surrounding area.
Again, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
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 Beautiful, thank you. So, I am under the assumption here, Danielle, that we're gonna need to have a entertaining motion to accept the specific variance as given on our agenda. Would that be accurate?
Yes,
Okay.
and you can just reference the application number,
The ZBA,
yes,
okay,
in your motion.
thank you. So, someone would like to, create that motion?
Make a motion to approve the zoning board of appeal. How is it? 24-10-02. ZBA 24-10-02. Approve that.
And a second, please.
Second?
Beautiful, we have the motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, if you would, Lisa, please.
Jerry,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes. That, variance has passed. Congratulations, Mr. Lipsky. You're welcome. I would now be entertaining a motion for adjournment of the zoning board of appeals, please.
Move the adjournment of the zoning board of appeals meeting. Support.
Thank you. If you would, Lisa?
Eric,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes. Okay. Let me get the paperwork organized here. And I believe, Danielle, we are able to go right into the agenda for the regular council meeting, correct?
You should open the regular council meeting and do roll call.
Thank you.
You just, we don't have to redo.
Do the pledge, right, okay. All right. So if someone would please, will entertain a motion to open tonight's meeting, please.
Make a motion to open tonight's regular Blissfield council meeting at 7:28 p.m.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Lisa, please.
Mike.
Yeah.
Tim,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes. We'll go on to the minutes, please. We have a recommended motion. Would someone like to entertain that motion, please?
I'll move to approve the minutes of our October 28th, 2024 meeting and presented.
Support.
Thank you. Lisa, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes. For the presentations and communications, we do have the 150th letter to James, and unfortunately, he is not here this evening from the time capsule for the that's the thank you very much. So I'm gonna go ahead and no, actually, we're the bicentennial. Yeah, we are the bicentennial.
But the letters from the Setsmore,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yes, thank you very much.
So you're-
So it is dated July the 28th, 1974. It says to the Honorable Mayor of Blissfield. The handwriting is beautiful, by the way, because it is written in there's no computer at all. That's interesting to me. To the Honorable Mayor of Blissfield. On this 28th day of July, 1974, Blissfield's sesquicentennial has come to a closing with the burying of this time capsule. As you read this letter in the year 2024, you will notice that many changes have taken place. In the last 50 years, the village of Blissfield has doubled its population, and with the growth of the village as it is today, it will probably be doubled again by the year 2024. As you study the master plans, you can see we have anticipated this growth. Our planning commission is presently working on a change in government from a village to a city, hopefully to place the vote on a ballot in March of 1975. The village council is now composed of 5 men and Dorothy Gilson, the first woman ever elected to the village council in Blissfield. At the present time, the village president is elected for a 2-year term, 2 councilmen each year for a 3-year term, and the clerk/treasurer for a 2-year terms. Hoping your term of office will be as enjoyable as mine. Respectfully, Charles Kohler, Mayor of Blissfield. So thank you, Mr. Kohler. Danielle, do you have any other communications?
I do not. Okay, no.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
36 years ago, about this time, I said I do to Esther Grace Downer. And
What was that again?
I said I do to Esther Grace Downer,
Okay,
and she became Esther Grace Waters. 36 years ago, about this time.
about this time.
Yes, this very date.
Would you like to bring her on up here and?
No.
I think you should. I think you should. Yes, dear. I think you should. How many years ago was this, Tim?
36.
36.
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Happy anniversary.
She said she'd do it all over again. She wants something.
Knowing what you know now, Esther, when she still say, I just started.
She said she would do some things differently, but she'd do it over again.
Okay.
Thank you. Congrats again.
For those of you that can't see Esther right now, I think she might be blushing. I think she might be blushing, yes.
I do not like the spotlight. That is totally his department.
But
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you for sharing that information with us. Beautiful. We're gonna go ahead then, guys and girls, and I'm so sorry that was teacher mode. My apologies. Let's go on to the agenda, please. If we could go ahead and have a motion for the agenda for November the 11th, please.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support that.
Then moved and supported to recommend the motion, or excuse me, recommended agenda as presented. Lisa, please.
Bill,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
yes,
Jerry,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Gwen.
Yeah. Public comment. Is there anyone that would like to state a comment at this time? Esther, anything at this time? Okay, I just thought I would give you the floor. All right, thank you. Seeing none, we're gonna go ahead on to the unfinished business, please. Council, does anyone have any unfinished business you'd like to discuss at this time?
I would like to hear from Mr. Waters and probably, I think, Mr. Gunter about the river. That's good. Big, experiences. This is all experience.
yeah, I'll get started and I'll let Mike finish. Do want to thank Mike and Matt Knoblo and a nephew of mine, Tyler Waters. And my oldest grandson, Clayton Perlman. We gathered down there, North Monroe, pretty much across from Marvin Nine's house. Saturday morning, and we took a John boat, Mike and Matt ran the John boat. What I really liked is when they got in the John boat and Mike was in the front, Matt was in the back. And they took off and Mike said, "Pray for me, Tim." Okay. So Matt, if you're listening, you're a great driver, okay? But we got down there and started cutting, then, you know, the other three of us got in 3 separate kayaks. And I had bought a pink kayak for my granddaughter, and she's 11, and it hadn't been in the water yet. But when my nephew Tyler came, I didn't think he'd want to be in a pink one, so we went back to the house and I asked my granddaughter if I could use her pink kayak, and she said yes, so. So I rode the pink kayak up to the log jam, and we worked there for nearly 3 hours. But what we found was that the riverbed was housing a lot of those logs. We couldn't really get them cut up. We're gonna have to winch them out or get a flatbed boat with a crane on it to get them out. But we didn't get as far as we did last year, but the water is too low for it right now. So we need a little rain to bring it back up. But we're gonna plan to go back here in a couple of weeks and try to do a little bit more. And then I'll pass it to Mike. He had the best experience of the whole
I can't speak the pneumonia, I can barely breathe, let alone speak, so. No, Tim said, the river, we do have to come up with something because it's not just behind Kneisels, there's a lot of issues and it's gonna be a challenge to mitigate that. And who we're gonna work with and how we're gonna work with and how we're gonna afford it, I don't know. But this isn't the only log jam, it's not the only problem, we're definitely gonna have to look into some sort of solution. But it's definitely a long term, and it's gonna have to be a maintenance sort of a solution as well. But it was a good day to get it started and try to help them out.
You want me to tell what happened to you, Mike?
I fell in. So,
We heard some yelling and there was a tree And it kind of forked like this, and Mike was right there at the fork. And we heard people yelling, so we looked over and there was Mike. One branch was under here, one branch was under here, chainsaw hanging here, and from waist down, he's in the water. And he was a little disappointed we didn't come walking on the water to help him. We tried to get.
Anyone that thought you would be able to do that. We got it.
He got water before he got to us, so he doesn't have pneumonia and he's here tonight, so that's a good thing. So,
It's a good experience.
Well, thank you for your efforts, certainly. If you don't try, you don't know where.
that's right.
And so, yeah, gotta try. Thank you. Anyone else have any unfinished business at this time? Mike, you got something down?
I don't know if it's unfinished or not. I kind of want to revisit the personal policy procedure amendment regarding the earned sick time. And I know we gotta do something by February 25th or whatever. But going back and reading through the ordinances or reading through the, whatever we're calling it, the bill. 408-963, section 5, it defines a small business fewer than 10 employees who are larger than that. So it says that if we're already doing something regarding PTO or et cetera, it should qualify.
Mhm.
So again, the more and more I think about it, is obviously we want to try to give our employees as much as we can, but if we're looking at 2 weeks more, quote, sick time, that's 2 weeks of inefficiencies. Again, being a small village that we don't realize as taxpayers, as residents, as council. So my fear is if we're already providing the PTO, again, we don't care if it's vacation, sick, et cetera, is there a way to just track that differently than giving, quote, another 2 weeks of sick time? Again, it doesn't cost anything by looking at it, but again, it's the amount, the efficiency, this is with the productivity, again. I'm sure Chief or Brian or any of those guys can realize as soon as one guy's off, and the same with the water plant, you got one person down, that role has to be filled, that position has to be filled, that work has to be filled. So again, I think we may have rushed it a little bit. I feel like, what are other municipalities doing? Do we have a solution? Do we have an option? You know, can we just mitigate it with maybe more PTO? Again, I prefer the PTO because we don't care what you do. You do with it, it's your time. If you're sick, if you want time off, et
You could
cetera.
have those options, Daniel, do we?
I think we can record it differently. I don't like adding 2 weeks of non-productivity on our employees when we're already short-handed. Does that make sense? And it's nothing against our staff.
No, that's not.
It's just
that's not
certainly
what you're
that
saying.
we're short as it.
I was under the impression we could not change that. It was.
Yeah, and I did talk about that a little bit. So the PTO, he is correct. We do comply with the time off. However, the new law has additional conditions. So what I had talked about at the last meeting is that we can add sick time as I proposed to meet those requirements, or we would have to amend PTO to have 2 different classes of PTO. Because the 72 hours and all of the leave tied to this have different restrictions than our PTO as it is today. So either way, we have to amend the policy. How we do that, we, as long as we're complying with the ordinance or the law, we can kind of tweak that and do what we need to. I actually want to bring this back to you guys as well. I'm going to be talking to staff again at our next staff meeting. But there's nothing to compare to because everybody is doing the same thing we're doing right now, trying to figure out how to implement the law. Because some communities, they still have it separate, but there's been a huge shift where a lot of communities have gone to PTO because it simplifies tracking of time. We don't have to question the employees. I know Chief at the last meeting talked about it a little bit with some of the complications with personnel and the sick time and taking that off. And that's why a lot of places are going to the PTO. We would love to keep PTO only. It just gets really complicated when you have 2 different classes of it. So we thought it was easiest for tracking and for the employees to separate it. I still feel that way, that it needs to be separate because of this change with the law. But I
Because
don't.
if it's in PTO, we can certainly roll it over like we already do, et cetera. You know, I think we can clean it up and make it easier, and I like that, the two versions of PTO, because it could be, you know, a sick PTO or, you know, vacation PTO
It
or
just-
personal PTO, I don't know.
BSNA doesn't allow us to track it separately, so it's gonna be manual tracking on our end. So that's why I would
I think
propose
that's,
the
I
two
think that's more
separate.
efficient than 2 weeks extra of quote, non. Working for 30 some people or however many people we have working for us, that have one person maintain that.
So if you're concerned about that, I would recommend that we keep it separate. Because to manually track it is gonna be a nightmare. But we keep it separate and then you consider reducing PTO by that amount. Obviously, that's not gonna be favorable to the employees, but that would meet the requirements of the law without. And then that would still allow us to track it. If that's what you're concerned about is creating a higher bank.
Yeah, well, I certainly don't want it to be an equality where, you know, we're dropping PTO this much and you get this much sick time again. You know, employees probably take it wrong that I'm trying to screw them over somehow, but I'm not, you know what I mean? But again, it's our responsibility to make sure that we're operating it as efficiently as possible. And I think we have a pretty decent PTO package that would provide, as well as now the state forcing us to quote, make us more inefficient in our operations by giving people sick time off on top of the PTO that they already have, which I think was already fair, because to use that time as is. You know, it's not up to us, it's not our business. Again, the state should have their hands out of it. And yes, I want to help the employees out as much as I can, but I don't think that's fair to the taxpayer to say, okay, you've got an additional 2 weeks. And again, personal nature is, you know what, I'm coming up November, December, and I have used my quote sick time. Guess what? I'm sick around the holidays, and that doesn't help us at all either. So it's an ugly situation. I don't want to pick off our employees, and it's nothing against them. It's just how do we do it efficiently and fairly and fiscally responsibly.
Do supervisors track individual time in their sections and then give you guys the paperwork, or do you guys track for everybody?
No, the supervisors track every employee is responsible for their time, they do their timesheet, and then all supervisors approve that. And confirm that it's accurate and make sure nothing was missed or.
Because, sorry, okay, well, I'm just saying, again, and it's from the full timers, what the benefit is, the part timers, we have to do it, whether it's school employees, you know, seasonal, et cetera. That would be the 1 hour per week. But again, our full timers already get the PTO, they get to, again, they use it for whatever they want. Sick, vacation, personal time, et cetera, whatever. So again, the larger quote costs or inefficiencies to the village, the part timers out at the pool, whatever, big deal, if they want their 1 hour off, they can have it. It's the full timers that we really kind of depend on. And again, we're potentially giving them that extra 2 weeks of off times. And again, we have to fill those positions, just the work doesn't get done just because we're so small.
Danielle, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna ask, would, you be meeting, and I don't know, meeting in person or via Zoom, since other administrators, you know, city officials are having to have the same discussion. Do you guys, is there a plan to meet like that over, like I said, over Zoom at a conference to have, say, this is what we're planning on doing, this is what we're gonna do, and since everyone's in that same boat?
So we typically will do quarterly luncheons, where we just meet up for lunch, we rotate the community. And we just talk about anything and everything that any of us want to talk about. So we don't have an official meeting scheduled for that. We are coming up to have a lunch here soon, and I would imagine that's something we all are going to want to talk about. What I would recommend at this point is, I don't think that tonight we're prepared to make any changes. I had already planned on meeting with staff. I canceled last week's staff meeting because of Yuletide and we had elections, everything going on. So we meet again next Wednesday. I would really like to meet with staff and talk about, I have a couple ideas, chief has a few ideas, and for us to brainstorm. And during that time, I would also ask that you guys, and I can send that information again, but look at that law again, and if you have ideas or specific questions, or anything like Mike, please, I think I understand what you're saying completely, but if you have other things, come talk to me about that. And then we can get this back on the agenda for a council meeting. I don't care if it's the next one, or if you guys wanna wait till December, I'll take direction from you on that. We have a little bit of time, so I don't think that it's critical that it has to be the next meeting, but definitely one of the near future meetings.
Yeah, just subsection 5 really kind of breaks it down for me, and that's kind of, it's like, well, that's what sort of hit me, it's like, well, we're already kind of implementing that, we already have those benefits, it's already there for the full timers. And again, I wish I could give our staff more vacation and more time off, but obviously, again, we also have to operate as a village, so. Again, whether it's the legislature, MML, somebody, they need to, if they're gonna come up with these great ideas, then they need to tell us how we should implement them and how we should make it work, because that's the challenge, especially with everybody doing things differently. Every municipality is different. But I think we can come up with a solution by the 25th, obviously, but I'm not sure I want to implement it as such right now.
Sounds like, there's a game plan in place, to talking with the staff, and then from there bringing it back to council as well, listening to some of our discussion.
Yeah, and please reiterate if you guys do, again, this is not personal. I just,
I don't think that they would take that
well,
personally. I would hope
I
not.
would hope not, but
I would hope not, because you stated it well, Mike. I did have something for unfinished business, Danielle. Is there an estimated timeline for how much longer the library will remain part of our payroll? I see that, regarding the magazines or purchase of things. When will that transition take place? Do we have an idea?
So I know that Bob has been working on that, very extensively. His plan, or his goal is to be off of payroll, by December 31st.
Okay.
And then I believe accounts payable would follow either same time or shortly after that is his plan.
Okay, I just want to get a little direction on it. Thank you.
that's in the agreement, wasn't it? Wasn't it by February or something?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I just want to get some clarifications since I saw it on there still occurring, so I assume so, but again, just wanted to have it out there. Thank you. Anyone else have any unfinished business? Jared, anything special?
Not really.
Okay, Jared, all set, guys? Okay, thank you. We'll go then on to new business. We are coming on to payroll, please. Looking for a motion regarding the register for October 2024, please.
Motion to approve payroll register for October 2024 in the amount of $123,147.02.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Lisa, if you would please, unless there are any questions. Please, thank you.
Eric,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Yes.
Gwen,
We'll go on to the next accounts payable. Again, entertaining a motion for it, please.
Motion to approve accounts payable for the period of October 16, 2024 to November 12, 2024 in the amount of $990,290.70.
Or
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I have two,
Yes,
sorry,
sir.
quickly. On the first page, bills, Al Smith, 178, that's sidewalk repairs, that's not what DMP should have done, correct, when they did their boring down and whatnot?
No, we do not do any of their repairs.
Because I did see, I think there are still some slabs that need to be replaced where they just threw in.
Yes, they have several spots that still need to be done. I would tell you what that spot is, but off the top of my head, I'm drawing the blank and I'd have to look at the bill again if you want to know the spot, but it is not DB.
Okay, so as long as that stuff doesn't replace it.
we have the corner of Monroe Street, 223 would be the southwest corner, because there was a slab out there,
That was DMP.
DMP, and then down, down a ways, there was another slab on it.
On Monroe, South Monroe.
223. thought there was no.
That- All of the 223 was DMP.
Okay.
My other question, Underwood Nursery. Age 29, 725, I'm assuming that's for that Christmas tree down in the park, the main park there.
Yes.
That seems like a lot for me. If we could find a quote permanent location, so we're not thinking $725 Christmas tree every year, I think that, yes, it's good because we do plant them, but if we could come up with something consistent, again,
What tree is this for again? I apologize.
I believe it's the old time.
It is, yes. It's the tree that's in Bicentennial Park.
Yeah.
That it was used for the tree lighting ceremony and then will be planted. Last year, we were able to get a tree donated. It was about the same cost, but it was completely donated in full. And this year we were not able.
I know a lot of people are kind of disappointed to see the one go down by the Blackmare parking lot, whatever, but. You know, if we came up with a permanent solution, then we're doing that once and that just seems high to me for a tree when we're talking about. You know, we're trying to replace those 223 trees by the railroad tracks, et cetera. And, you know, 725 seems a little high for it.
We do have the motion with the support on the floor. Anyone else have any other comments? Lisa, when you're ready, please.
Mike,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes. Item number 3, that motion is passed. Number 3, please, the resolution regarding the publicly funded Health Insurance Contribution Act compliance. PA 152, 2011. Danielle, I know that you would like to speak about this, please.
Yes, annually, the village is required to submit our compliance report for Act 152, which states that municipalities are required to select one of the 3 options. I have listed those options for you. So the first one is to proceed under hard cap, which those amounts are set under this act and they do increase annually based on inflation. And that says that the village would pay the hard cap amount, anything above and beyond that would be the responsibility of the employees. Option 2 would be an 80-20 split, the village pays 80%, employees pay 20%. And option 3 would be to exempt the village from either of those options. We have historically exempted ourselves from this as it has been our goal to continue paying for employee benefits as long as we can. As it does help in recruiting and retention. So we are recommending that again. This is for the 2025 year and we do have this within our budget already. But if you guys have any questions, please let me know.
I move council approve the resolution accepting the Public Act 152 2011 for 2025.
Support.
Thank you. It's been moved and supported. Any other further conversation? Seeing none, Lisa, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Gwen? Yes. Going on to item number 4, to approve the aquatic center season pass holiday discount. It seems pretty straightforward. If anyone would like to ask Danielle questions. If not, looking to have a motion, please.
I'll move to approve the holiday season aquatic center 15% discount is presented from December 2nd, 2024 through December 9th, 2024.
Support.
We have been moved and supported. Any further discussion, please? Seeing none, Lisa?
Mike,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes. Item number 5, surplus of the street sweeper. Danielle, would you like to share information about it, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So we obviously just recently purchased a new used street sweeper for the DPW. And we have our existing 1996 sweeper, It is still operational for short periods of time. I don't believe that it's probably valued at too terribly much, but we would like to surplus it to try to collect any amount that we are able to. Staff would like to try to find an auction that we can take this to. We feel that we'll get better results from an auction rather than closed bids. If we are not able to, then we will solicit closed bids, which would then come back to council for approval. But if you have questions about this, let me know.
Is it like an online auction or do we physically have to take it? somewhere?
We would physically take it somewhere would be our hope. We're hoping to find an auction that will have some larger equipment where people are maybe specifically going for those things. And I will, of course, keep you guys updated as if we find one or what happens.
Move council to surplus the 1996 Sunback street sweeper.
I'll second that.
Been moved and supported to surplus the 96 Sunnyback Street Sweeper. I think when you're ready, Lisa, please.
Real quick.
Oh, my apologies, Mike.
Any surplus money that goes into motor vehicle fund or does it go to the DPW?
That would go into the motor vehicle fund.
Sorry, so.
No, don't be sorry, that's fine. Lisa, when you're ready.
Bill,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes, that motion has passed. Let's talk about the surplus of the ice rink. I think it's the same scenario, Danielle.
Yes, so the Parks and Recreation Board actually made the recommendation to bring this to council. They recently had some discussion about the ice rink and had requested me to bring them information on it. But we are requesting to surplus this. I'm not entirely sure what the value is. But we typically surplus anything over $500 in value. We would like to try to see if we are able to get a little bit of money on this. It's just sitting in storage right now. The liner is damaged and does not work, but there are other components. Somebody could make their own liner. They could go out and purchase that liner. So again, we're just requesting to surplus that and instead of just letting it sit in storage rotting. And if you have any questions.
Several years, have we?
Correct. Yeah, we've not used it, at least since I've been here, I think
Since
before
then.
that as well. And we did talk about this at Parks and Rec, in quite a bit of detail. My understanding, when we initially set that up, we had a individual that volunteered all their time and was very passionate about it, kept it very clean. They would go out, squeegee it, shovel it, take care of it. When that individual was no longer able to, it fell on the staff to do that, and it's very labor intensive. If it's not frozen all the way through, and people try to skate, they would break through that top layer, and then it would no longer be smooth. There were times where it would remain frozen. If it snows, you have to get that snow shoveled off right away, otherwise it starts to freeze, but you can't really skate on it, and just caused a lot of issues, and we just don't have really the staffing or capacity to take care of it properly, which is why it's not been set up the last several years.
I'll move to surplus the nice rink, 24x40 rink kit.
Support.
There's been a recommendation motion to surplus the nice rink. Lisa, when you're ready, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes. Going on to number, item 7, to rebuild of raw water influent pump number 1. We recognize that Nora is not here because someone is getting their honor society report, is my understanding. So congratulations to Nora's family. Danielle, would you like to address anything at this time?
So Nora did a thorough job of explaining all of this in her staff or task sheet there. But this is a budgeted project. You guys had previously approved during the budget process $37,500. This item is coming in under budget. But if you have questions, let me know. I'll try my best to answer them. And I do know Nora apologized for not making it, but congratulations to her daughter on being inducted into NHS.
Move to approve the quote from Professional Pump Incorporated for the rebuild of raw pump number one for the total of $23,670.
Or
It's been moved and supported for the recommendation. Any more discussion on that, please? Okay, Lisa, when you're ready.
Eric,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Tim,
yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes. We are now at the closed session portion of our meeting. At this time, we will be entering a closed session to discuss the collective bargaining agreement. I would be needing to have someone make a motion regarding going into closed sessions at this time, please. And
Move that we go.
my apologies, there's one thing.
I'm sorry, can I jump in before you? I just would like to be clear, I put this on the agenda if needed. The next new business item is the police union agreement, which is, can be conducted in public, it can be talked about in public. The closed session would be for the purpose of talking about any strategy related to the negotiation project, negotiation portion specifically. So if we're not going to talk about that, then we would do everything in, under new business, in the public, and no motions would be made if we go into closed session, which is always, but I just want to make sure that you guys understand that this is on there just if you need it. And that would be, so the strategy portion would be if you had a specific question to the subcommittee that was appointed as to why they agreed to that or how they got to a certain point within that negotiation strategy, for I don't know a better word to use. But if you have questions about that or you're not sure if you want to go in, I can try to help you with that. If you feel like you need to, again, that's what it's there for.
I know that personally, I would like to go into closed session, please, to have that discussion. Bill?
Okay, should I continue on with my motion?
Sorry, Jerry.
That's okay.
Sounds like you can.
Sorry. I move to go into closed session at 8:05 for MCL 15.268C for strategy and negotiation sessions connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement. Yes.
Sounds great. I'm looking for support, please.
I'll support that.
Having the motion and support, please. If you would, Lisa, take that roll.
Gwen?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Okay, I thought it had to be last, but okay.
don't have to be. Eric,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
oh,
My understanding is Danielle will be attending the closed session. Lisa will be as, the clerk position. Is that correct, Danielle? I say that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Chief, are you joining in this particular time? My assumption is you were.
Daniel wants me to say.
That's what I thought.
Chief should be included because he was part of the subcommittee that was established for negotiations.
And all council agreements of involved as well.
Yes, so we are not really set up public. I apologize for this, but we will have to ask you to step outside while we conduct it. We'll try to be quick. And as soon as it is completed, you are able to come back in. We'll let you know and make sure that you're aware of that too. Sorry.
we will be ending Zoom and get back on once it is